Hey, I'm Vernon,
And I'm Ashley.
and this is the Extended Grace Podcast.
This is the story of our family moving from a Chicago suburb to plant a church in Charlotte, North Carolina.
We're recording this as it happens.
The highs, the lows, and the conversations that are shaping who we are becoming as a church and as a couple doing this together.
You can find out more about us or get involved at extendedgracechurch.com. In this first episode, we share the origin story.
The story of how we went from being convinced church planting was not for us to discovering that God had other plans.
It's the story of how he changed our hearts and called us into something we never expected. Okay, we're officially recording. You want to tell everyone who you are?
My name is Ashley Johnson.
I think most of the people, if they're listening to this, hopefully know who we are, but
Who
if
are
not,
you?
I'm Vernon Johnson. So, where are we currently?
We're currently in Waxhaw, North Carolina.
Yeah, we're in Waxhaw near the JARS base, which is like an aviation missions organization. Yet a family who works there has this like beautiful apartment. So that's where we've been staying for the last 4 days. And what got us to this place where we're at now?
You want me to share that?
Yeah, let's start.
Okay. Well, for the last 2 years almost, we've really been feeling like God's been pulling us in a different direction. Both of us into full-time ministry.
Yeah.
And we really took some time to pray about that, where are we currently at? Does that mean staying where we are? Possibly becoming lead pastors at our own church when my dad retires? Or did that mean leaving and going somewhere else? We took specifically a year, I should say, where we very clearly were praying.
Yeah.
2 questions
Yeah.
of, is God calling us both into full-time ministry?
Right.
And if that is yes, then is it Christian Hills?
Yeah. And you at this time had been worship pastor for 8 years. I mean, taking a slight break for some children, but but had been there for quite a while. So yeah, praying 2 prayers. I came on part-time at Christian Hills as executive pastor for like supposed to be like 10 hours a week on top of my full-time job at LinkedIn. So that was 2025. And that's a long story, but I felt like for most of the year we felt somewhat frustrated because we felt like the first prayer was yes. Like we both felt called into full-time ministry. Some things happened that year for me specifically too, where it was like that was the first time I was able to be in a pastoral role in a pastoral capacity where I was helping walk along people's brokenness. And I was like, this is what I was made to do. So I feel like the first prayer was like, yes, pretty quickly. But the second prayer was hard because we were praying if it was at Christian Hills in Orland Hills, Illinois. And that one we felt like both were like, I don't know. There's several points in that year where I remember you saying, we got to make a decision. And I kept thinking like, we're going to pray the whole year, but I don't know, God hasn't shown me anything yet.
Yeah.
Were you frustrated that year?
Yeah, I think it was just, we knew God was calling us into something, and it was like we were ready for that next step and that next place, and just felt like we didn't have clarity yet. And obviously it was all in God's timing.
Yeah.
But it's when you're in the midst of it, you're feeling like it's taking forever to get an answer, when really the Lord's probably working on us and doing things in us that he needs to do to even get us to the point of us saying yes to what he really wants us to say yes to.
Yeah. And I feel like that's such a key theme of the story.
Yeah.
I felt like in such a liminal place in that season where it's like we're in between stuff. We weren't sure if it was here or there, or how it was going to happen.
I think it's good to say too, like, we absolutely love Christian Hills and the people and have such a heart for them. But we were starting to feel very burnt out in the fact of it's a small church, so you take on many roles. Even though my role was worship and creative pastor, I'm also helping in children's, and I also took on leading our PAX team, which is our Parents at Christian Hills school, which is essentially a PTO for a small private school, which is also a lot of work and fundraising. And you're working full-time for LinkedIn, which is already a lot, plus now taking on the executive role at the church, speaking, doing children's ministry, all of that.
We took on
and we have 4 kids. So, that's a lot in itself.
We're definitely feeling burnt out. Physically and spiritually,
And just looking for, okay, God, this doesn't seem like this is what you have for us. To always feel drained and exhausted, and that we are constantly pouring out, but not getting filled enough to continue to keep pouring out that way.
Right, exactly. So we continue to pray through 2025. And I think we both kind of felt like, I think for most of that year, you're like, I don't know if we can stay at Christian Hills. Or like, that's not it. It's that we don't know if Christian Hills was what was next. And I was like, I think it is. Granted, neither of us had like clear leading from the Holy Spirit. But it was around November that I remember something shifted and we started having some conversations, and you're like, okay, maybe this is it. And it was like I remember at a breakthrough, because the Lord had shown you some things in that moment. It was like, okay, he's doing something in our hearts. We need to let go. Maybe this is it. It wasn't like a clear sign. It wasn't like it was Christian. It was like something in you broke, and that you can fill in anything that I'm not getting right. But something broke in November. Was like, okay, this is it. And so we ended up having a sit down conversation, and we outlined some timelines that could work with her dad, who's the current senior pastor. And I think in those conversations we started having, we realized maybe this isn't the right fit, that Pastor Mike's time wasn't done there yet. And
we didn't want to obviously feel like he needs to hurry up and change his timeline for us. Like, that is not like, it.
Go on, get out the door. We're ready. Yeah. That was not the heart at all. No.
It felt like maybe this was it. Maybe this is where the Lord was leading us, and we needed to say yes to that. But then through all of that, it was, no, I needed you to say yes to be ready for what I really had.
Right. The analogy is from Acts 16 with Paul, when he goes on the journey with Silas and the Holy Spirit keeps him from entering Asia. It was kind of like, and then goes on to Macedonia. It felt like that very much, because that goes through then February of 2026, when we felt like, okay, this actually isn't the place we're supposed to be. Pastor Mike still has some time here left, but we don't think we're meant to stay here. And so now what? So it felt like we got clarity, and then we're back into ambiguity.
Yeah.
That was really hard. I remember that week, maybe too honest, I was like crying quite a bit, because it felt like a death had happened. Like, this is where God was leading us. We felt like this is where we were supposed to go. And then those doors kind of shut, and it was like, wait, why are we back where we started?
Like, we're back to the unknown. Of, we can't keep living this life of constantly pouring out, and not feeling like we get the rest and to be able to recoup, and so that we could continue to minister. Because I think that's important, is in ministry, it takes a lot out of you, and it's a lot of time and effort, and we believe in excellence, which is not a bad thing. And we believe in like doing the absolute best that we can, and having our ministries, giving everything that we can. But when we take on too much, you get burnt out really fast.
Exactly. Yeah, totally. So
that was February.
Yeah, so February. So we're then like, okay, God, what's next? I started applying to a bunch of different churches.
You did, yeah.
Which is another weird season because when you're applying for churches, they're so different than applying for jobs. Like there's companies I wouldn't necessarily want to work for, but
you're not
like,
necessarily like, what are your beliefs?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Like there's some core things that we truly believe that a lot of churches don't believe. And
yeah, like if Google gives money to some organization, I'm like, oh, I don't want to work there. I mean, there's just some companies like that, but like less stringent. And then with churches, I'm like reading through their beliefs or looking at their board and just different things. Was like, I don't know if I would work there, and so it was really hard to apply for jobs. But applied for a few, got some interviews. Just never felt like the Holy Spirit was leading us towards any of those things, and none of the doors opened.
And it was like really hard to find even churches close to what felt like the heart that we have for the church.
Young families, people who may have heard about Jesus but haven't like experienced the abundant life. This will all play into the future also, talk about this church. I
mean, can we say that? Women in ministry. And like we believe in that very strongly. Obviously, I'm in ministry, so to be able to go to a church where they don't believe in women in ministry is a big deal to us.
We have so much respect for other beliefs. And there's so many different non-doctrinal beliefs, core doctrinal beliefs that we can care about. But Ashley and I really have a heart for seeing women the full ministry incorporating the full ministry. So big thing for us. So that's February. February comes along, and our denomination, which is like a small network of churches, larger network of churches across the U.S., Canada, and Africa, called the FCA, had a meeting that her dad attended.
So it was like a board meeting, and it was just on a Zoom call or something. And I remember as soon as the meeting was done, my dad came into my office very excited. Like they really have a heart, the FCA, to plant a church in North Carolina. And our family has always loved North Carolina. We have had a heart to move here for
a long time,
many years. Like we've just loved it. Since North Carolina, South Carolina. We just love this area. We love being outside. It's just beautiful here. And
I felt drawn here for a long time.
And so it's just funny. He like came in and he was just excited about it. And he was like, I kind of threw your names out. And we were like, oh, like church planting has never been on our minds. And I remember we specifically had conversation about church planting, and we're like, that's not too for hard. Us. Like, that's too hard. I was part of a church plant in Dallas, and it was so much work, and that had like tons of young people involved. And I remember how hard it is. And I'm like, we have 4 kids. Like, that's too much. Like, we already are feeling burnt out,
As a reminder to our listener, the 2 listeners,
whoever's listening,
never tell God something you don't want to do.
Yes, exactly.
So where does that lead us?
Well, I should say that it was weird because I remember him coming in and saying that to me. And like literally that was my first thought, is like, I don't really know that we want to do a church plant. But the more we started, I remember you came and I was like, guess what? And I was like, why am I excited about this?
I was shocked you were excited about it. In fact, you called me right away and you were like, guess what my dad just said? And I'm like, why are you excited about a church plant? Like, we've never done this. And at the time I had to come over to church for some reason. So I remember walking over, and I'm walking along the street, and her dad comes racing down with his truck, and he opens the window. He's like, guess what? So he had told me the news that you had just said. Same thing, kind of all happened. And I'm like, oh, cool. And in my mind, I honestly was like, we'll see if this exists. 1, we don't know if we're actually the ones to like do this. And 2, is it real? And 3, I don't know. I just had a lot of doubts.
We didn't have enough details. We weren't sure. We weren't part of that meeting. So obviously it's just, we're getting a little bit of information. And, so my dad just encouraged us. He was like, a bunch of these people are going to be at our convention. We had a convention coming up. the end of April. And he was like, yeah, you can, meet these people and get to know them and find out more information.
Yeah.
And so we kind of like put it on this back burner of like, we can't really like make a decision because we don't know enough information yet. So it was kind of just like, yeah, let's put on the back burner. We'll go to convention.
Yeah.
We'll find out more information. We'll meet with some people. That's kind of like where I feel like we left it.
I was like, it's not real to me. The opportunity wasn't real to me until we actually went and talked to somebody. And so we kind of like, put in the back of our minds, thought this is cool. We'll see if we can talk to some people at our denomination's convention, which happened in May of 2026.
No,
this year. April. Oh, end of April. That's right. So we kind of just prayed and we're like in the season until April when we went out to Arizona for the convention. What is the first thing you remember being there about this opportunity? About the church plant, yeah.
I remember meeting Pastor Anthony Simmons and Pastor Dave Carlson right before the annual board meeting.
That's right.
My dad introduced us, kind of said, these are the ones heading up this church plant, and just the excitement that they had. And I remember just talking to them and like just hearing a very quick little information about it. And I don't know, it was like the Lord just like stirred something in me in that first conversation. Where I was like, I really want to know more. Like, I really want to sit down with these pastors and find out more behind the heart of this. And yeah.
Yeah, I felt like that was the first moment I felt like this is a real thing. Some of the pastors from SA we found out had gone to Charlotte already to like pray over the area. They really care about this specific place, and God is leading them in this specific place. So that was like, okay, that's cool. And then one is just like such a bizarre scenario of events in our lives where we've always wanted to move this way, thought we would before. And then for your family to start moving this way, it was just kind of like an interesting parallel. Not that those things always connect or coincidences, but it was like, okay, is God doing something now? Like we've kind of been waiting for something, and here it is. And as you said before, like we were never interested in church planning. Like that wasn't like our heartbeat. And as we kept hearing more, we're like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what we want. I think we started to catch the excitement in talking with Pastor Dave and Pastor Anthony. And then we went to Pastor Anthony's class on church planning. And that was just like so confirming to me of the heartbeat. Even if we don't end up planting a church, I'm like, I love the heart here. And I think this is going to be something we do for or support. So we ended up leaving convention with just a heart for possibly seeing this opportunity, trying to, seek the Lord in discernment, but also to go out there, put some feet on the ground and actually see what it's like, see if we can hear the Lord in this. Right?
Yeah. I think we left like, this could be really exciting. Like this could be something pretty incredible. Maybe this is what the Lord has for us.
Yeah.
But we really wanted to go visit because neither one of us had ever been to Charlotte. In that specific area. And we're like, you know what, we need to go. There were some people that are part of the SCA that live in the area that would want to be a part of the church. So we wanted to go get to know them a little bit more. And we just really felt like that was the best way for us to decide, is to start praying about this and really seeking the Lord about it, but also go get our feet on the ground.
Yeah. And I think that prayer was really important because I remember talking with my good friend Joel Warren's dad at his son's first birthday party, and he's a pastor, and he goes, getting your feet on the ground is so important. He's like, there's so many opportunities where I went and I felt God calling and was like, this is where it's supposed to be or not. So it just gave me so much hope going into this trip, and the trip was awesome. But you'll have to wait till the next episode to hear about boots on the ground Charlotte trip.
Yeah.
Any closing words from Pastor Ashley?
No, I don't know.
That's it.
Exciting things.
Who's ever listening, hope you're encouraged. And we'll catch you on the next episode.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So that's where it started for us. Burnt out, a little scared, and somehow more sure than we've ever been that God was up to something. Next episode, we'll finally get on a plane to Charlotte, the trip that turned maybe into something a lot more real. If you want to follow along with us, get updates, or just find out how to get involved with Extended Grace, you can head to extendedgracechurch.com. Thanks for being a part of episode 1, and we'll see you next time.